When I started replaying Final Fantasy VIII for this video, I realized it's actually my least played Final Fantasy. And I think I know why that is. This game has always been kind of intimidating. It feels almost insurmountable without outside information. Not for the story progression, mind you. The main objectives are perfectly straightforward to follow. But for everything surrounding the game's finer mechanics, you're gonna need a guide. FF8 is the kind of game where you'll eventually end up with lists, charts, spreadsheets, or half a dozen browser tabs open just to keep track of everything. No matter how well you understand junctioning and refining, there is inevitably going to be information that you have to look up. Which enemies carry the spells you need? Which items refine into what? Where do you find those items? Which NPCs have the best triple triad cards? Simple. You look it up. Unless you're willing to spend dozens of hours cataloging every enemy, every drop table, every refinement recipe, and every card player by yourself, you're never going to discover all this stuff organically, much less memorize it. More than almost any other Final Fantasy other than probably 10-2, FF8 feels like it was designed to sell strategy guides. And considering the state of the gaming industry at that time, that probably isn't far from the truth. Despite what a lot of modern players will sometimes say, pre-internet video games actually didn't expect you to figure everything out on your own. These games shipped with thick instruction manuals that were full of gameplay tips. The original Legend of Zelda included an overworld map right in the box. The original Final Fantasy came with a walkthrough covering nearly 2/3 of the game. Nintendo even operated a paid phone hotline dedicated just to helping players. Once strategy guides became a booming business in the early 90s, developers quickly realized that they were another possible revenue stream, particularly in Japan, where companies often published their own strategy guides in-house. Nintendo, Capcom, Bandai, Square was no different. They regularly wrote and released official Final Fantasy guides alongside the games themselves. And for players, the more elaborate the game's mechanics, the more obscure its secrets, the more tempting that strategy guide became. At a certain point, game development and guide development practically went hand in hand. They'd already convinced you to spend $60 on the game, why not squeeze another 30 out of you while they were at it?
You know, they make it so you can't defeat Zerg unless you buy this book. It's extortion, that's what it is.
So no, I really don't think that all of FF8's obfuscated mechanics are completely accidental. Games from that era were often intentionally opaque because publishers expected players to buy the accompanying guidebook. Seriously, did anyone actually find Doom Train using nothing but the in-game hints? And if you did, how long did that take you to figure out? In many cases, developers weren't expecting you to just figure it out. They expected you to buy the strategy guide. And to me, FF8 is one of the clearest examples of that philosophy. I genuinely can't imagine the average player uncovering even half of this game's systems without any outside help.